Welcome to The Explainer. You know, the world is changing so fast, it feels like the old rulebook for success has just been tossed out the window. And when it comes to education, that playbook is being completely rewritten, and it looks like AI is holding the pen. So today, we're going to dive into how this technology is redefining what it really means to be ready for the future.
So let's start with a big question. How do you prepare for a job that doesn't even exist yet? I know it sounds like a riddle, right? But for millions of students, this is the reality they're facing. The skills that used to guarantee a solid career are becoming less relevant. And the jobs of tomorrow? They're not just going to be different. They're going to demand a completely new way of thinking.
And that brings us to our first section, a world in flux. The ground is just constantly shifting under our feet. That old model of education, get one degree, land one career for the next 40 years, it's broken. It just wasn't built for the world we live in now.
Just take a look at this. The World Economic Forum listed the top skills employers are looking for. And if you look closely, you start to see a pattern, right? It's not about memorizing facts anymore. It's all about how you think, how you learn, and how you adapt. The value isn't in what you know, it's in what you can do with what you know.
So this is the gap we have to close. On the one hand, you have the old model, built for a stable, predictable world. On the other, you have the future, which demands constant motion, continuous learning. It's a huge shift from memorizing static facts to dynamically solving new problems. And here's the real challenge. Our education system is, for the most part, still stuck in that left column.
So how do we possibly bridge a gap that big? Well, that brings us to Section 2, AI, the new catalyst. Now, for a second, let's just forget all the hype and the fear. Let's think of AI as a tool, a powerful catalyst that can help us make that leap to a smarter, more adaptive way of learning.
To really get a handle on its power, we have to understand what an AI model actually is. The U.S. Department of Education puts it really well. They call it an approximation of reality. It's not some perfect, all-knowing brain. It's a very advanced mathematical tool, and it's built to do things like find patterns and make predictions. It's incredibly powerful for sure, but at the end of the day, it's still a tool.
The statistician George Box said it perfectly. All models are wrong, but some are useful. And honestly, this is the key to understanding AI's role in education. We're not looking for a flawless, perfect technology. We're looking for a useful one. The real goal here is to leverage these powerful, even if imperfect tools to make human learning better.
Which brings us to Section 3, Education Reimagined. Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get practical and look at how AI can actually start to transform the classroom experience for both students and for their teachers.
So what does this actually look like in a real classroom? The potential here is it's huge. And it all starts with making learning deeply, truly personal for every single student.
Maybe the biggest promise of AI in education is its ability to deliver personalized learning at a scale we've never seen before. We've known for decades that one-on-one tutoring is the gold standard, but it's always been way too expensive and impossible to scale. AI changes that. It offers a way to give every student something like a personal tutor, available 24/7.
And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. It's already happening. In Brazil, the Letras program used an AI to give students instant, real-time feedback on their writing. And the result? It's incredible. In a huge statewide trial, the students using it jumped from 8th place all the way to 2nd place in national writing exams. That is the power of personalized AI. It can close real-world achievement gaps.
Okay, but what about the teachers? There's this common fear, right, that AI is coming to replace them. But the reality is actually way more interesting than that. The goal of AI here isn't replacement, it's augmentation. It's about freeing teachers from all the tedious administrative work so they can focus on what they do best, mentoring, inspiring, and really connecting with their students.
Think about this. Some research suggests AI could automate about 20% of a teacher's admin work. Just gone. So what could a teacher do with all that reclaimed time? Well, a lot more one-on-one mentoring, way more creative lesson planning, and even more time for their own professional growth. AI doesn't diminish the teacher's role, it elevates it.
And then there's assessment. High-stakes exams, all that stress. Well, AI can completely transform that. Instead of a big, scary test at the end, AI can embed assessment right into the learning process itself. It creates this continuous feedback loop that actually improves learning instead of just measuring it.
So it basically transforms assessment from a final judgment into an ongoing conversation. AI can give instant feedback on really complex skills, like coding or speaking a language. It handles the boring grading. It helps teachers spot learning gaps right when they happen, not weeks later. And it adapts to each student. It becomes a real-time tool for getting better.
Now, this all sounds incredibly promising, and it is. But with all this power comes a huge responsibility. So in Section 4, we have to talk about what is maybe the most important part of this entire conversation, making absolutely sure that this technology serves human values first.
This quote from Dr. Russell Schilling at the U.S. Department of Education, man, it just perfectly captures what's at stake here. AI isn't inherently good or bad for equity. It's a tool. And the outcome, whether it actually widens the gap between students or shrinks it, that depends entirely on the choices that we make right now.
So how do we make sure we make the right choices? Well, this framework gives us a pretty clear path. And it all boils down to a few key ideas. Keep humans in charge. Always check the data and the AI models for hidden biases. And build in safeguards to make sure that equity isn't just an afterthought, it's the main goal.
Look, if you only take one thing away from this section, let it be this: keep a human in the loop. Technology has to be a tool that augments the wisdom and the empathy and the judgment of a real teacher. It can never replace it. The future of learning depends on a partnership between humans and machines, with humans firmly in the driver's seat.
All right, last section, Section 5. The future is learning. We've talked about the technology, we've talked about the ethics, but now let's bring it all back home. Let's make it personal. Because this isn't just about changing big systems, it's about how you are going to navigate your own future.
You've probably heard this saying before, but it gets repeated for a reason, because it's dead on. The real competition isn't going to be between you and some machine. It's about your ability to adapt and use the new tools. The future belongs to the people who learn how to use AI to amplify their own skills and their own creativity.
And what that really demands from all of us is a fundamental shift in our mindset, a shift toward lifelong learning. The idea that you finish your education when you're 22, that's over. Education is now a continuous, purposeful process of improving yourself throughout your entire life, for your job, for your community, and for yourself.
As we're all living longer, this is what a 100-year life might actually look like. Not one single career, but several. It's going to involve moments of intense reskilling so you can pivot to a new career. It'll mean upskilling to manage a portfolio of different kinds of work. And it'll even mean learning new things later in life just for the pure joy of it. Continuous learning isn't a bonus anymore, it's the new survival skill.
So look, this transformation is here. AI is going to change how we all learn. That is no longer up for debate. The only real question left is a personal one for you. How will you change with it? How are you going to embrace this new world of continuous learning to build your own future? Thanks for watching The Explainer.